There are few things that I am as passionate about as I am fountain pens. I mean, I adore these things. I love writing with them. I love expressing myself with them. I love obsessing about them and sharing these obsessions with you as I do in these videos. However, and I think you may know this, I also love architecture and design. And here in this Wahl Eversharp fountain pen, I have a lot to talk about. History, a company whose roots go back 100 years. Design, rooted in Art Deco. And of course, whether or not this fountain pen writes worthy of the name Wahl Eversharp. So join me today, won't you, as I take on the Wahl Eversharp Skyline fountain pen. Is it an Art Deco masterpiece? To put this pen into some context, let's start, as we often do, with the history of the Wahl Eversharp Fountain Pen Company. The Wahl Adding Machine Company was founded in 1905 in Chicago, and they made adding machines, as you would expect with that name. But in the 1910s, they made a pivotal decision: expand into writing instruments. At the same time, an inventor, Charles Rood Kieran, developed one of the first truly practical mechanical pencils in 1913, the Eversharp pencil. In 1915, Wahl entered into a partnership with Kieran, and by 1916, Wahl had acquired the Eversharp business, forming what would become Wahl Eversharp. By 1917, they purchased the Boston Fountain Pen Company, gaining manufacturing capability in a competitive market dominated by the Parker Pen Company, Schaefer, and the Waterman Pen Company. Wahl Eversharp quickly rose to join them as one of the 4 preeminent fountain pen companies in the United States. By the late 1930s, they were producing some of the most iconic pen designs ever made, models like the Doric that remain highly sought after by collectors today. In 1941, they introduced one of the most famous fountain pens of all time, the original Skyline. The Skyline had strong Art Deco and streamlined modern influences, which are still evident in the design today. Art Deco was a design movement that emerged in the 1920s. It was characterized by bold, geometric forms, symmetry, and a celebration of modernity. And of course, machine age progress. If you think of the epitome of Art Deco, think of the Chrysler Building, for instance, one of my favorite buildings. By the 1930s, Art Deco had become the defining visual language of luxury, architecture, and industrial design across Europe and the United States. Can you imagine what it was like to live in an Art Deco world? It seems like it'd be like walking in a dream to have that design language the basis of your everyday life. It must truly have been inspiring. Now, the Skyline fountain pen is widely associated with Henry Dreyfuss, who's one of the most important industrial designers of the 20th century. Although it's very important to make the point that he is not directly connected to it. He did not directly design it. His name is not on any patents, at least not anything I could find. However, Dreyfuss's design language, his influence, is all over this fountain pen. Dreyfuss believed that design should serve both form and function, creating objects that were not only beautiful, but also intuitive to use. His work extended to everything from telephones to locomotives, like the New York Central 20th Century Limited Streamline locomotive that bears a striking resemblance to this pen. His influence helped give the Skyline its streamlined, modern profile, making it one of the most recognizable pens of its era. But then, like the meteor that took out the dinosaurs, came the rise of ballpoint pens in the late 1940s into the 1950s, a period that I like to call the Ballpoint Pen Crisis. This was a time when many pen brands had to adapt and change or face extinction. By 1957, this was the sad fate of Wahl Eversharp as well, when the company was acquired by the Parker Pen Company, effectively ending its original era of production. But in 2012, like something out of Jurassic Park, Wahl Eversharp was brought back to life.
Listen, if there's one thing the history of evolution has taught us, it's that life will not be contained. Life finds a way.
The modern revival of Wahl Eversharp is led by Sid Saperstein, who acquired the trademark and reintroduced the brand with a focus on honoring its historic designs while producing modern writing instruments. So what do we have here with the Wahl Eversharp fountain pen? It's really a sort of next level fountain pen. These retail between $60 and $70. The retail price is $69. They can be commonly found at the time of filming for $52. So it's not that expensive, but costly enough that you're putting a bit of investment in it. And I think for the rest of this video, we have to weigh whether or not this is worth $50 to you. Now, one of the first things that caught my eye is it's an Art Deco fountain pen. Made me think of another Art Deco fountain pen that was priced around $35 or so, if memory serves, and that was the Waterman Phileas, that amazing Art Deco masterpiece of the 1990s. So does this compete with that? Is it a worthy successor? These are the contexts that I'm bringing to this discussion today and the kind of way I'm weighing it. I mean, it's hard for me to pass up anything that is Art Deco and is beautiful and attractive to my eye. It already predisposes me toward liking it. But let me see if this pen, its performance, talks me out of that. So for a fill system, we get a cartridge converter, standard international, and they include one which is handy and nice. At $50 they should, but they don't always these days. It seems to be made very well. You have nice metal here that the barrel of the pen screws into. It takes a bit to screw it back together. It takes a little time, but you get there. The nib, I have quite a bit to say about this nib. It's not gold, it is steel. And it comes in two sizes, fine and medium, and I happen to have both, which is really handy. I'm going to film the pretty ones with the fine because I haven't filled it yet, but I've been using the medium for about a month now and getting very much acquainted with it. But I have a lot to say coming up on this nib. And the clip is very snappy, goes into the top of this cap, around it in a band of gold plating. The whole cap is gold plated, textured in a ribbed pattern, very much like the original. It says Eversharp down the clip. The engraving looks good enough. It's certainly very pleasant to the eye. The cap is robust. The whole pen feels like it was made with attention and very well. Now the barrel is made of stunning blue aluminum. It is very well finished, polished. It looks really pretty. It feels a little slick. You definitely have to like this material. I'm going to have quite a bit to say about that too coming up, and I'll let you decide whether or not it matches what you're looking for in a fountain pen. For those of you who are posting monsters, you can post this. It posts comfortably, it posts well, has a bit of taper at the end of the pen, seems to slide on there. It hasn't seemed to scratch. It grips it pretty well. So it's definitely made to post, and I think at $50 you can post away without worrying about hurting this pen in any way. Now weight, you're dealing with about a 25-gram fountain pen. It's got a nice feel to it. It's right about in that Goldilocks range. Doesn't feel too heavy at all. Makes it easy for you to carry around, to clip to the placket of your shirt if you like, or carry around your pocket if you prefer, or whichever way you carry your daily pens around with you. It's definitely easy, portable, robust, well engineered. Doesn't fall apart on me, which I quite like. It seems to stay closed, which is a requirement. Not all my pens do. It certainly flashes in the light occasionally while I'm talking to you. It's sort of dazzling me. The cap is just stunning. There's no denying that. But I do want to talk a little bit about the body. And I'll be honest, I feel like the barrel loses me just a little bit. There's something about the aluminum, and the funny part is that the grip itself is made of some kind of plastic or resin, so that feels fine, and it raises as you get toward the nib and has a nice gold band there. It's very pretty. You also have some threads here where you can anchor your fingers if you like. They're a little bit more on the sharper side, I must say, as opposed to many pens these days. But the barrel, for some reason, just throws me off. The metal, the aluminum, for some reason. It's quite light. I think there's something about that that sort of fools my sense of balance. It makes me feel like it should be a bit heavier visually, but it's more in a connection. I just think of that classic Skyline from the 1930s when they were making their classic pens. They were made out of celluloid and had that warm, almost organic feel in your hand. Well, aluminum warms up, so it's not the coldest metal, but it's still metal, and it just feels a little bit disconnected. I mean, aluminum elevates some pens. I'm thinking of the Lamy All-Star. That just makes the Lamy Safari that much more of an important, beautiful, well-designed pen in that material, almost as if it were transformed by a pop artist into something more glowing with more visual texture. But here, it sort of holds me back from bonding with it. And this could be totally a Hemingway Jones problem. And that's why I leave this up to you to decide how you feel about an aluminum body. But I would say, if I had a voice in the design of this pen, I think I'd prefer plastic over it. Certainly resin, would love lacquer, but there's something about this material. But I will say this, the original spirit, the Art Deco spirit of industrial design and the latest materials and technology in those days is somewhat transported in an aluminum pen. It's endlessly recyclable. It is visually stunning. So you really just have to ask yourself whether or not that's an issue for you. As for me, it sort of put a little distance between me and this pen I wasn't expecting. I think the other thing that this does with the way the body is and the way it tapers and all that gold on the cap, it makes the cap that much more visually substantial. And it makes it feel sort of top heavy, if you will, when you look at it. It's just all in the top of this pen. But can't deny that it's gorgeous, that it's beautiful and compelling. When you see it, you do want to touch it. You do want to write with it. And that's what it's about after all, isn't it? So I just feel like I need to get all of my criticisms out of the way before I let you know how this pen actually writes. And there is one big point. You might think once again that I am hung up on little details, but let's uncap this pen and have a look at the nib, okay? I love the shape of this nib. It flares a bit before it races down to the point of the tines. I think that's absolutely brilliant. As it is, it says Eversharp USA, which I guess they're based here. That's nice. Maybe it's a nod to the past. The design, like I said, the shape of the nib is absolutely beautiful. And you must be wondering by now, how does this fountain pen write? Well, The answer is rather well, really. The nib is incredibly smooth, incredibly expressive, well finished. It's a good size, it feels very precise, it's fun to write with, it has a certain alacrity, it has a nice flow, it's very expressive, it hasn't let me down, there hasn't been any false starts or skips or any imperfections to mar my writing experience. When I pick it up, it is a complete and total joy, so I really can't criticize it for how it writes. It's really an incredibly expressive, fun, lightweight pen in the hand, which is a very joyful experience as well. So I can't criticize how this pen writes. In fact, I celebrate it and I'm really impressed how it works. And I also wonder, in looking at the shape of this nib, it feels unique to Wahl Eversharp, so I'm wondering what their vertical integration is. Is this a nib that they're able to produce through a counterpart? That's what I'm thinking. It seems custom designed to this pen, and for that I have to give it some points because it's very well done there. So now you must be wondering, do I recommend it? It's $50. It's a lot of pens at $50. There's a whole bunch you can choose from, but I have to say, it's not a bad place to put a pen purchase, really. It writes well, it's stunningly beautiful, it's not too much money, sort of aspirational, but something that we could all afford with a little bit of budgeting. It is a stupendous writer, hasn't let me down in this month that I've been using it. So I would say, with perhaps some caveats, yes, I do recommend it as long as you don't have a problem with an aluminum barrel on your fountain pen. So where does that leave us? The Wahl Eversharp Skyline fountain pen. An Art Deco pen. Is it a modern Filius? I think it's something else. It's not quite a Filius for me. That is a legendary pen that I just feel like is an old friend, and I just couldn't get close enough to this one without a more organic feel in the body. Though I do understand it's Art Deco, metal, progress, industry. It is all encapsulated here in a very interesting fountain pen. So tell me, what do you think about the Wahl Eversharp fountain pen, the Skyline? What do you think of my video? I'd appreciate your comments, and please share it with someone else who you think might enjoy it. And do me one more favor if you don't mind. If you watch my videos, please subscribe. I'd love to have you on this journey with me. And I also have membership. If you'd like to become a member of the channel, we have a pen pal group for Illuminati and Cognoscenti members. I'd love to have you behind the scenes, and it would help to keep the lights on. So I make new videos all the time, and I have a live show as well. So I can promise you, we will see each other again very, very soon, further up the road. So take care of yourself.